Hey guys, Psych Gaming here. Welcome back to WoT Tanks. Yes, I am back from my holiday, finally. I'd just like to say, before we actually begin this video, that I am now uploading on my new schedule, which is once every other day rather than twice a week. So, be sure to look forward to that. I thought I might as well kick everything off with a good old tank review. So, this is the StuG III. It's a Tier 5 German TD. And it's actually really good. I do enjoy playing this tank. It's typically German, so it's got a nice, good, accurate gun. So it kind of plays a sort of sniper role. So it plays differently to the other Tier 5 TDs. And I do enjoy playing a sniper role. So as you can see, I have played this quite a bit. However, I did buy it at 100%. So mostly I know all this from watching other YouTube videos and a little bit from my own knowledge. We might as well get jumped in straight into the stats here. So anyway, this thing's got 350 hit points, which it's actually pretty bad in comparison to Tier 5 vehicles. After all, it is a TD, so TDs generally do have less hit points than vehicles of the same tier. It means that if you're unlucky and you come across something such as a KV-1S or perhaps various Tier 7s, you can get one-shotted very easily. If you pair this with its pretty bad armor, it's got 80 on the front, 30 on the sides and rear. And now what you may be thinking, 80 on the front, that's not too bad. Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 80mm is only these extra armor bits here. Everything else is actually less than 80. One of the only redeeming factors of the armor itself is the fact that parts of it are pretty well sloped. You've got very nice sloping there and there, as well as here. So yeah, you are going to get penetrated from the front pretty easily, and you don't really have a very good survivability, seeing as though your hit points are pretty low. Around the sides and rear, obviously, you're going to get penetrated easier as well. However, it is a pretty light tank, 20 tons. For its size, that's pretty heavy, to be honest. It is a pretty small machine. But it's got 440 horsepower pulling it, which means that this thing is fairly nippy. You can go pretty fast in this thing, up to 40 kilometers per hour, and it reaches that. That isn't a fake speed limit. You will reach that normally, or at least in my experience, I have. Also, its traverse speed is really good as well, 44 degrees per second. That means that even though it doesn't have a fully pivotable turret, you can turn this thing round pretty quickly, and you're not really going to find yourself in very many situations where you've got someone round your back, firing at your back, and you can't turn around. This thing does turn around fairly quickly. Covered armour. Now, one of the main defining features of this tank is actually its gun. If you come and have a look in here, this is the gun. Well, this is the best gun. It's actually got 4 guns, one of which is a, if I am not mistaken, yep, you've got a howitzer there. So, if you want a howitzer, you can fit one on this tank, but if you're doing that, you're playing this tank wrong. You may actually recognise its top gun, which is this one here, from various other tanks. If you come and have a look in the tech tree here, by the way, this is pre 8.8, so this is the German tech tree before the patch 8.8. And if the KV-1S gets its 122mm gun taken off it at any point, it may not be able to be one-shotted, the StuG, so just bear that in mind. But you may recognise this tank gun from any one of these vehicles here. It's an upgrade on these 4 vehicles, and it's the stock gun on these 4 vehicles. So that's pretty cool. You've got the stock gun on a Tier 5, on a Tier 7 tank, on a Tier 5 tank. So you might be thinking, that's fairly average, but this is the TD version, right? So it gets an accuracy upgrade over the normal version. So if I just let's just bring up my 3001D here. There's the normal version of the gun, and you can see the differences here. And this is why the gun is just so brilliant. Look at the accuracy of it, 0.33 accuracy. You can very easily hit targets at a very long range, and well, I might as well go over the statistics systematically here. So it fires at 13 rounds per minute, that's fairly fast. That's not slow. And when you combine that with its damage, 135, you can dish out quite a bit of damage in a short space of time. Its penetration, I find myself bouncing off things like KV1s. I don't know how, off the front of KV1s, just because I end up at a long range. Obviously your penetration dips a little bit, and sometimes I end up finding the curves on the KV1, so maybe that's why. But that's not a bad penetration at all. You can definitely get through the front of quite a few vehicles. If you simply can't, then you can just shoot at the tracks or find weak spots, because it does have a very accurate gun. Its aim time is also brilliant. I mean, 1.7 seconds. If that's not the fastest aim time in the game, that's one of the fastest. That is pretty good. This gun is renowned for being very accurate. I'm talking very fast today, I'm so sorry. Its gun traverse speed, that's how, seeing as though it doesn't have a turret, that's how fast the gun actually traverses within its housing. So 44 degrees, that's fairly good. That doesn't really play so much of a factor in the in TDs, however. When you come to these last two stats here, these are the only two reasons why it's not the perfect sniper tank. 310 meter view range, it is a closed top vehicle, so it doesn't have the best view range, and what that means is that 310 meters isn't actually that far at all. This is why I've got a binocular telescope on down here, try and increase that. And its top radio, do I have the top radio? Yeah, I do. It only gets a tier 6 radio, the FUG 7, which is only a 415 meter radio. They're the only two reasons why this thing isn't that good of a sniper. However, everything else kind of adds up to be sniper type characteristics. Bad survivability, nice engine power, very accurate gun, low small tank. It's got a pretty good camo rating on this thing. That's one of the reasons why I've got a camo net down here. This thing is definitely kitted out to be a sniper tank. I've already went over these two. After all, I want to be sitting up on a hill in a bush, not being shot. So the camouflage net is going to help with that. Then, seeing as I'm going to be quite far away, I still want to be able to spot things. So 25% extra view range for a stationary vehicle with a binocular telescope, that's pretty good as well. It really does need it as well, seeing as though it does have a pretty it's on the lower side of a view range. I didn't pick coated optics over this, one because I can remove that free of charge. You can demount this because it's not complex equipment, and also because I'm going to be sitting still more than I'm going to be moving. That's better for mobile vehicles because that's more than that. So I suppose, well, for the third bit of equipment, you can really choose what you want. I wouldn't take a toolbox, because if you're going to get tracked, you're going to get blown to bits anyway. You've only got 350 hit points, remember. I wouldn't take a lane drive, because you already aim at 1.7 seconds, which is blisteringly quick. If you're going, that's not going to have that much of an effect, even though it would still be helpful. You could still take that if you wanted. Let me think. I suppose you could have vents. Vents is never a bad idea, and the gun rammer is not a bad idea either. You can really pick anything you want for the last one, but these two are practically essential for this vehicle. That's really all I've covered in this thing. You don't need a fire extinguisher, that's all I'm going to say, just because well, just because you've got such a bad survivability anyway, your health's just going to be taken away when you get put on fire. So I think your engine, actually, one second. No. Alright, just forget that. I'm going to jump into a game now. In fact, no, I'm not going to jump into a game after all. That's just habit. I do actually now record my games in advance, and I'm going to show some replays now. I'll just jump into one of those, and I'll see you in a minute. Right, so here we are on Sacred Valley, obviously in my StuG. As you can see, I'm heading towards the flag, as it is an encounter battle right now. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and take the very long line of sight from over here over to this sort of area. After all, this thing is supposed to be a sniper tank, as I've been repeatedly saying. So instead of going up onto the ridge over here, where the heavies should really be going, I decided to come down here because there is a lot more of long lines of sight. So a lot of our team actually did decide to go this way. I spot that T-70 over there, try to have a look, but I've got no line of sight there. So what I'm going to try and do is move up onto this bridge, see if I can get a decent line of sight from here. There is going to be a really good point here of the gun depression on this thing. I think, yeah, this is me showing it off here. I don't actually think I get it low enough. I try it again. That is the gun depression of the tank. It's fairly bad, and this is why being in this position here isn't too brilliant. And here I am taking a huge long shot at that T-40 there, and I actually nearly kill him, and I think, yeah, someone else finishes him off. Now there's a Panzer IV in that bush, so I decide to see if I can take a shot. T-34 there, another target, penetration again, and there he is, finished off by somebody else. Now I do have a little bit of a issue with this Matilda here, trying to get into a decent position without cutting him off. I would rather have two guns firing at him. I know he's ploughing into me there because I've just driven in front of him. Trying to take out this M8A1. I'm going the M8A1 because he's the easier target. Might as well get some more XP there. Look, that's me. I can't aim any lower there. That's the bad gun depression actually coming into play. Didn't actually wait for my gun to aim there. However, I did hit him, so I actually missed for the second one though. I decided to switch targets to the Churchill, and I can't hit him for some reason. Now, I'm trying to get a different position because I don't want to be next to this Matilda all the time. I'm trying to get a good position, but it's just not working, so I reverse back into where I was, pull forward a little bit, and I just can't seem to find the position I want. Unfortunately, see, if I was in something like an M4 Sherman, for example, this would be so easy. The gun would just depress all the way down, and I'd be able to see what I was doing and actually shoot at targets. I decided to switch up my position here. I'm moving back a little bit, trying to find where a spot where this T-49 is. Not exactly paying too much attention to where I'm going. I go too far and turn back. I'm not trying to find, just to have a little insight here, with these tank reviews, I'm not trying to find the best footage I possibly can, because that's not the best representation of what these tanks actually are. So if you don't see, I don't know, like MLG no scopes or like 12 kill games, you're not gonna see them here, especially in these tank reviews. This is just showing off some games that I've had that you can pretty easily have in these vehicles, showing off their playstyle and showing you how you should be playing them. So I've been taking quite a few shots at long range targets. A little bit closer to the Churchill now. I actually finish him off. Quite happy about that. Now I just pull behind this bush, and I'm just trying to see if there's any more targets, which I don't see any from there. I'm just pulling forward a little bit more just to see if there's any targets up on that ridge. There is not. I don't believe. We are winning 11-5, so there isn't actually that many targets left. And I see that KV-1 and I'm like, well, I might as well go over there. There's action over there, but I know for a fact there's still people on this ridge. Over here, there is, as you can see here, there's still people there. I need to be keeping my eyes on there at all times, because I would rather be next to the flag attacking people at long range than coming into a close range encounter like I'm going to be with this KV-1. Now we do have two Churchills, a Churchill 1 and a Churchill 3 attacking this KV-1. And at this point I was like, oh, they're going to get him. Look at him, he's already on just over 100 health. I'm not going that fast. I mean, in the replay theatre thing, your speed does waver a little bit, but I was reaching my speed limit at times. I'm going about 35 there, so 37. Here I am, pull in, take my time with that shot, take him out. Now a shot hits that building there. I'm trying to get into cover, and luckily I think, yep, shot bounces off the front of my armour. I was very amazed at that. I don't know whether what I said in the garage was correct, whether I do actually have 80mm of armour on the front. I've only heard that from somewhere, but it may have been from Jingles, in which case I see him as being a very reliable source. One of the main reasons I actually wanted to show this bit of gameplay here is because of the whole gun depression thing. It's something which I do like to show off in my tank reviews during gameplay, because you want to actually, I would like people to see how far the gun actually depresses, never mind oh, it's got good gun depression or it's got bad. If you can actually see it, then it gives you a little bit more knowledge about the tanks, I suppose. Now, somebody on the right there was shooting over there. I think it was the Matilda. I thought there would be a target over there, and I know for a fact this guy's going to be on the ridge, because there is nowhere else he would be. We are base camping in the moment, so that would be like the sort of area that I would expect him to come from. There he is, an Electo, tier 4 British TD. And I can't seem to get a shot on him, and I don't particularly know why. However, I switch positions. There he is, just waiting for a good shot. Good penetrating hit, but someone else takes him out. Now I'll just pause it there. That was a pretty good game for me. 2 kills and some very accurate long-range shooting. We did nearly cap the base and we won 15-5, so I don't think that was my double XP win, but I did get quite a lot of XP. As you can see in this game, it was before I actually put binocular telescope on, so I've only got a camo net. But it doesn't matter really. A lot of the time people are actually setting up in these bushes, pointing at the screen there, setting up in these bushes over here, so you wouldn't be able to spot them anyway. Anyway, I might as well just jump into my second replay today. I've only got 2 for you, but this shows off, it's sort of the same thing, but it's a lot more in-depth. So anyway, I'll see you in a second. Right, so this time around we're on Malinovka, and now typically this is actually a map which I don't actually like. This may be because of the fact that I generally play this map on like low tier tanks where they're not exactly that specialised. They don't have very large view ranges and they don't have very accurate guns. Now, I know one of those isn't actually my favourite at this point, but I'm relying on my teammates to kind of push up a little bit. And now, speaking of teammates that are pushing up a little bit, I've got this KB1 pushing up here, which he seems very eager to get into the action. But targets start lighting up, and I just missed that tank there, and I switch over to the T28, and I hit his tracks. Now, this Hetzer gets blasted by one of my shots as well as one of somebody else's, and he's on 50 health, and I take a shot and it bounces. For some reason I decide to switch over to the StuG. I get a penetrating shot on him apparently, even though he went into the, he disappeared, and I managed to finish off the Hetzer, which is good. Even though I did make a mistake there, it didn't actually matter. I tried to fire into the bush there just to see if I can get a shot on that StuG. I don't think that worked. I'm basically just trying to find targets here. Now, as you can see here, I am actually playing with one of my buddies. This is One Shot Many Kill. He's also one of my subscribers. You may be seeing a lot of him in the future, because he is one of my friends in real life, and I do enjoy playing World of Tanks with him. Now, I finish off that T28 there, and I keep looking at that Hetzer, seeing if I can take shots, because at this point I'm basically just sitting still and trying to find targets to shoot at with my big accurate gun. Now, I see targets over there. I actually see the medium tank behind him, but I ended up aiming for the T49 and then aiming for the M3 Lee. I get a penetrating shot at him, and somebody else finishes him off. Now, there's a very small amount of target on that T49, and he pulls back into full cover, so I decide to lay him off after trying to target him again, aiming back towards the front. Now, as you can see down the bottom here, I did actually equip binocular telescopes for this match. I actually remembered. I switched to see more targets. I do aim for the T49 again, but I see that there's a slow moving Churchill 1, and seeing as though there's such a great distance, I would prefer to go for the much slower moving one. However, he does disappear. And here he is again. I've got a very small amount of target to actually shoot at him this time though. Only his turret and part of his hull. However, I do manage to find a hit there. And there's my teammate starting to push up. Now, I don't follow him for quite some time because I'm still preoccupied with all of these targets on the ridge over there. I would like to have pushed up, but then again, I keep forgetting I'm in a TD. This is the role of this tank. This is where I should be, and this is where I'm getting a lot of my damage from. I do a fair amount of damage in this game. Now, he's only on 200 health there, the Churchill, and I take a shot, it penetrates, but then somebody else finishes him off. Switch over to the SU-85, and at this point I'm just like, wow, there are so many targets for me to shoot at. He disappears, and I try to shoot around where he was, but I don't think I actually managed to do any damage there. T-80, TF4, Russian light tank, trying to take a shot, but he is a very small target at a great distance, so I don't actually manage to hit. And it may be around now. At some point I try to push up. Not now, obviously. Oh, there we go. I do remember this game because it was only today, so... Now, I'm basically just trying to find more action. I've done my sniping. I know that we are winning now, 9-4, and I'm expecting a win from this, so I'm trying to go mop up all the enemies that are either injured and still alive, or that are just still alive. Just taking a look over the ridge there, see if I can see anything. Keeping my gun nice and pointed forward. Now, them two TDs on the other side of the map are far out of my signal range, so I divert my attention to the StuG, and I'm trying to get into a sort of flanking maneuver, not pulling into where one shot many kill is there, because if I go that way I can see that he's taking a heck of a lot of damage. He's telling me that he's being shot from off the ridge, and I'm assuming it's one of it's probably the KV-1, because we just saw a TD over there. So I pull in, make sure I'm taking time with the shot, and finish off that StuG III. And at this point, one shot many kill actually dies. So I know that I've got very little hit points in comparison to everyone else, and the KV-1 can dish out a lot of damage depending on which gun he's using. I mean, he could be using the derp, in which case he could really do quite a lot of damage to me, seeing as though my armor is fairly bad. So I'm backing up, playing it very cautiously. And you can see the pretty good turning time here. You can't snuff that. And so I'm coming into another position here, trying to find that KV-1 again. My binocular telescopes kick in, and we are capping quite a lot here actually, 70 points in, and there he is. And now this is where I actually demonstrate I can't actually penetrate this KV-1, like I was saying before. Now somebody actually does manage to set him on fire, and just damage starts rolling in for that guy, and we capture the base. Just pause that there. Basically that guy gets left, starts to roll forward, and he ends up with that amount of health at the end. Manages to survive by the skin of his teeth, basically. As you can see, this was a pretty good game. I managed to dish out a lot of damage in a lot of different places. This is the main way you should actually be playing the StuG. Nice, safe position, at a long distance, just dishing out damage to all the targets you can find. Marnovka is actually a pretty good map for this type of tank, because there's lots of opportunity targets. You can if there's somebody scouting up in this area of the map, you can very easily find the people that are crossing over here, and then you've got very nice targets from here. So anyway, that was both the replays that I'm going to be showing you. So I might as well just cut into the back into the garage and round it all up, so I suppose I'll see you in a second. Well guys, this has been the StuG, the Tier 5 German tank destroyer sniper tank. Wow, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Be sure to look out for the video in 2 days' time, following my new video schedule. I'm going to try and make it a little bit interesting. What I've planned is going to be quite a little bit different from a tank review. I hope you're going to enjoy that as much as you've enjoyed this. If you've got any feedback, please remember to tell me in the comment section below. It's much appreciated, and I suppose I'll see you next time.